Today's video is part 2 to school drama vlog. I'm going to let you know how everything panned out with the bullying situation at school. The day after I made the first video, something happened that showed me that Michael had been lying to me.
During recess, the teacher saw him hit the other boy and call him a name. I got a phone call from the school.
OCS, out of class suspension. Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that.
My children ride their bikes home from school, and because the other mom had followed them home the previous day, I told them that I would meet them at the school and ride home with them.
I asked Michael on the way home why he hit the boy, and he told me he didn't. So now I'm thinking maybe everything he's told me has been a lie. I don't know what's true and what's not. While we were riding our bikes home, the other child's mom pulled up. I told her I wanted to talk to her. She came out and was just mama bear, which she has the right to be. My son's been bullying her autistic boy. She mentioned suing our family. She also said that she was at the point that she wanted to take it up with me if it didn't stop. She said that at that moment she was using all of her willpower to restrain herself physically. I really don't blame her for feeling that way. I told her I'm doing what I can to stop it and that I'm not okay with what Michael's doing. When we got home, in order to document that for legal reasons, I sent an email to the principal letting him know that she had said those things to me in case anything comes up, which it probably won't. Because the mom mentioned suing or pressing charges, I decided to go down to the school and request a copy of Michael's IEP. I've been reading a book called Don't Tweet in an IEP Meeting by a special education lawyer. I'll put a link to it in the description. It's full of a lot of legal tips for parents.
I got a copy of his most current IEP that day.
The reason I did that is because there's a part in the IEP that lists out the strengths and the weaknesses of the child. And if I have in his weaknesses impulsivity, a tendency to instigate conflict for mental stimulation, and trouble regulating his emotions, that can protect him in a legal situation. When I read the IEP, I saw that a lot of these strengths and weaknesses are outdated. And here it says that he can't do any homework, but he does all of his homework now. And it says he's unable to complete classwork in Spanish and he's not in the Spanish school anymore. I need to call an IEP and update these strengths and weaknesses right away.
Here's what I decided to do to motivate Michael to not react to the other boy if he said any names to him and to leave him alone.
I talked to Michael when we got home and I told him that he was having out of class suspension the next day. I said that that day he wasn't going to get to play his phone and that he would need to do extra chores to watch TV. Michael started crying and I'm not sure if it was a combination of being sad that he was getting a punishment, but he was also telling me that the other boy had been calling him names and that's why he punched him. But I told him that it still doesn't make it okay. I told him that if he did his work and was obedient for the teachers the next day in his out of class suspension and respectful, that he could play his phone after school that day. He went to school and he did his out of class suspension, no problems. It has now been 1 week since the out of class suspension. I asked Michael if he's had any problems with the other boy and he told me they just don't talk to each other, they try to stay away from each other, so it looks like the issue is resolved. Another thing I think deterred Michael was seeing the other mom threaten me physically. I think it showed Michael that his actions affect more than just himself and might have negative consequences for his family as well. But what I really want Michael and all my kids to learn is that just because someone treats you poorly or calls you a name doesn't mean that you have to react in kind. You can stay calm and you can decide to walk away or to react in a more mature way.
That's it for today's video. Here's some tips I hope that you took away from the video. Number 1, use the strengths and weaknesses section of the IEP to outline things that might be problematic for your child. You can document events through email. Please share with everybody what has worked for you in the past. Make sure to subscribe to this channel if you're a parent of a child with ADHD and dyslexia.